How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to SportsHype podcast, Phil. Hosted by Jake, Gio, and Nick. Phil. Today, we're going to start by talking about round one of the NBA playoffs. Maybe we'll touch back on the playing games later, but they told me to be unpredictable. So we're going to start by talking about Warriors Nuggets. Nikola Jokic needs help.
That is very, very true. Very factual.
Have y'all watched those games or not?
I watched the one last night, and Jokic was just getting mad at everything.
Yep.
But I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He has no help. Jamal Murray hasn't played all season, and Michael Porter Jr. has been out for most of the season too.
I really thought it was going to be closer than it is, though.
I honestly thought Warriors in 6. I didn't think they're going to sweep the Nuggets.
And hopefully, when they go back to Denver, the Nuggets pull together some momentum, because as of right now, they just haven't had anything. It seems like watching those games.
No, watching the game last night, bro, you could tell their team was falling apart. They didn't even want to be near each other. DeMarcus Cousins got in Will Barton's face.
Yeah,
it's just not good.
Seeing that outside of Miami is way more concerning too than what happened in Miami, I would say.
Yeah, especially since it's already the playoffs. That was before the playoffs. They didn't care. But in the playoffs, that's nerve-wracking.
Do you think Boogie is in the right place to be doing that, though, to get in arguments with teammates like that?
I mean, no, because he doesn't do much to help the team, in my opinion.
At the same time, I think he does,
I mean, veteran-wise, yeah, he does. But, at the same time, if he's talking, defensive stuff, then go out there and play good defense. He doesn't do that.
True. Gio, what are your thoughts on that?
He wants to win. He knows his time is ending in the NBA, and he wants to do whatever he needs to do to get that chip. And for him to be this close into the playoffs and have an actually solid team right behind Jokic, I think that he just wants the most out of his players. And you're obviously not seeing that with Aaron Gordon. You're not seeing that with Green. And, yeah. Obviously, Barton's doing his thing. And so is Monte Morris can only give you so much. But
if Denver wants back into the series, they need Aaron Gordon to step up.
Yeah.
With what his production has just been very minimal to impacting the Nuggets. He's got to be that number 2 option at this point.
He should have been all season. No, you're good. He should have been all season, but he's just been way too inconsistent. If he was consistent, they could have been a 4th or 5th seed with the amount of wins they were already getting.
Right.
But I don't know. But what do you guys think of that L3 lineup they're calling it with Poole, Clay, Wiggins, Curry, and Draymond? How do you even stop that?
I love to watch that lineup play.
Same. Bro, watching Jordan Poole last night, that was just a masterclass.
It was very fun to watch. They were talking about how Jordan Poole might have to stay starting, but
you can't keep bringing Curry off the bench. It's Curry.
Why not? He's putting up 30-something points in 22 minutes. It's
yeah, but Poole could do that off the bench too.
Nah, he can't be doing what Steph does in 22 minutes.
I think he could. He was all season, at least 15 to 20 off the bench.
Yeah, but Steph will give you that. I totally know that he's going to start. Steph's going to start. But having him come off the bench is the unpredictability of you don't know what's going to happen when Steph comes off that bench. He could either drop his first game where he's a solid player, or he can go ahead and go ballistic and go for that 30-something point game in 22 minutes. And just put your team ahead by that much when, your starters are, resting.
Yeah, but I mean it's Steph. You can't keep bringing him off the bench.
Right, but the unpredictability, it would be great to see Steve Kerr play that chess match and have these different options of bringing Steph off the bench because you have these great starting players like Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, right? All those guys where you can interchange pretty much and start one, bench one, right? And you never know who's going to go off.
I think Kerr's just gonna ride with it until like the Western Conference Finals or
Right,
Finals.
not, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Save your ankles, save your health and just go ballistic when that time comes.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, just save your energy till it matters the most.
This is the best matchup the Warriors can have, in my opinion. Is playing these Nuggets not at full health, where in a Memphis team you're gonna have to grind it out. You're gonna against the T Wolves, you're gonna have to grind that series out. The Jazz might be the only other option where you're gonna be able to have Steph come off the bench, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, even if they sweep the Nuggets, Steph will get 10 extra days of rest, which will also help.
Right.
But what you got to say, Saya?
So what I'm thinking is, I agree. They have to ride it out. Like Curry's, sorry, Curry's got to run like his lackluster minutes while he can, where he doesn't have to play like the whole game. And he was fresh off an injury before the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So him having like these games where he can sit more than normal Warriors playoff basketball is just making the Warriors even scarier looking ahead.
Yeah. Like looking ahead, if the Suns and Warriors meet, bro, that's gonna be a great series.
That's gonna be very fun to watch. I think the Warriors beat the Suns too if the Warriors make it that far.
Yeah, I think the Suns would beat them, but I could see it going either way.
I don't know how the Suns could beat them though.
I mean, they're the only team in the West, in my opinion, who can match their firepower.
I don't know.
Those are the two teams in the West that I see going to the finals. One of those two.
Facts.
Right. Yeah. Those two teams by themselves are going to go to the finals, but it's the teams in the East because those are the teams you got to be careful of.
Yeah.
Going into the finals. And which teams do you believe could beat one of those two teams? And for my opinion, I think there's one clear team, but then there's also, a sleeper team in my opinion.
Yeah, the sleeper team for me is obviously the Nets. That's like a 7th seed. That team, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, if they both put up 30, bro, you're not going to beat them in a 7-game series.
This Celtics Nets series is probably my favorite one to watch right now, or my second favorite one.
Same.
Just because I think the Celtics won game one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it was a very close game. Kyrie got fined.
Yeah, but I mean, the fans deserve that if we're being honest.
Yeah, but at what point does the NBA want their players to stop being humans?
Right.
That's the thing. Like, if you don't want them to do that, then tell the fans to shut up.
Like, I understand as an NBA player, they're supposed to be above because they're so emulated and they're so looked up to.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still human beings who are going to show frustration.
I just think they need to put some rules for fans, like heckling wise.
That's fair.
Personally, gotta have thicker skin. Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, these guys and even Reggie Miller dominated the game with their frustration. They showed you guys, over and over again that even the heckling of Spike, right? Reggie Miller, showed out and, pretty much showed that, he's the man, right? Michael Jordan did the same thing. Shaquille O'Neal did the same thing. They used that energy from the fans to have even bigger and better games, right? So for Kyrie to do that, right, is fine. And it made the game entertaining for sure. But just let your game speak for you. You don't need to do that. And then in your presser say, yo, because of you guys tonight, this is why I went off. This is why my team won because of me, because you guys, made me do this. If you guys didn't say anything, I might have not done this. So,
I mean, he did both though. His game, he showed it in his game
right,
too.
yes, that's why it was more entertaining because obviously, if his numbers didn't speak for themselves, him flipping them off would not have meant that.
Yeah.
It would have looked bad on his side.
Mm-hmm.
But since he had great numbers to go along with it, it was just entertaining. But at the same time, just have your numbers speak for yourselves. I understand the frustration and everything. But you did say, not once, but twice, in 2 different cities that you will not leave them. In Cleveland, you said you weren't going to leave like LeBron James. On the Celtics, you said you wanted your jersey to go in the rafters. So at how many times does the disappointment do you have to disappoint a city for them to not be upset at you? Like the Celtics, obviously, top 2, franchises ever in the NBA. And for you to go ahead and say you're going to stay there and then leave, obviously those fans are going to be upset at you.
True.
Okay, real quick. I agree with what you said, but I'm just a little disappointed. You left out one person's game who I thought was top tier. When he showed his true game with frustration playing, people were getting all sorts of uncomfortable. And that dude is Ron Artest.
I did. But here's the thing with Ron Artest. He would show it in his game, but then he would actually try to knock someone out. That's the thing.
That's his game. sorry.
Like, I honestly thought you were going to mention LeBron James and being a Heat, right? Being a Heatle. Because LeBron played his best being angry. And he gave in to the fact that he was the bad guy. And that's when he was the scariest.
That's true.
That 2012 season when he was the bad guy.
That's true.
Very
Can we talk about the last play though? Why is Kevin Durant ball watching? Like, how do you let Jason Tatum get to the rim?
Poor defense.
Yeah, that's
Very
what
poor.
I'm saying. Like, you don't leave your eyes off Jason Tatum. You know the ball's going to him.
But
Out
at
of
the
all
same
people, that's going to Jason Tatum, bro.
At the same time, you had 2 seconds left. You had 5 seconds where Marcus Smart had the ball, pump fake, dribbles in, where people would have expected a shot. 2 seconds left. You would have never expected Jason Tatum to be able to get that ball and put it up in time.
Yeah, but there's no excuse for that, in my opinion. Being a top tier player, he is.
Right.
The defense 101 is don't ball watch. He was ball watching.
Obviously, I also feel like it's coaching as well, where Steve Nash, I feel like he could become a great coach with time, but he's still so new at coaching where that offensive possession at the end, the last possession.
That was awful.
Was awful. Should have had a better play.
Yeah.
And like you said, second is defense. In crunch time, your offense and your defense has to be the best. And we've seen multiple times where the Nets offense and defense haven't been the best in crunch time, especially in the last couple of years.
And that's what could cost them a playoff series early, to be honest.
It's just going to cost them, right? Because we saw it last year against the Bucks.
The free throws could also cost them. Like Nick Claxton missing 4 free throws. You make those, you win.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. If Claxton's in the game, you already know they're going to hack him.
Right.
So I feel like Steve Nash should take him out, put a better free throw shooter in late in games, like you said, coaching.
Right. And here's the thing with that squad you have, right? You had Kevin Durant only put up 23 points. He went 9 for 24.
And you only lost by 1.
Right. 1 for 5 from 3. And I believe, didn't he also have, 4 or 5 turnovers?
Yeah, he had a lot of turnovers.
Right. He played probably one of his worst games he's had in a long time. Mm-hmm. And they still only lost by 1. Kyrie still only put up 39 points, 12 for 20, 6 for 10 from 3. He was dominating that game. Seth Curry only put up 9 points in the first quarter. I feel like he's going to be more productive. I honestly feel like this second game is going to go to the Nets.
I do
just
too.
because everyone else is going to play better. Not that Kyrie's going to play worse, but everyone else is going to play better.
Yeah, I think Kevin Durant, he's not going to have 2 bad games in a row.
I
honestly see him going for 30 plus tomorrow night.
Right. Yeah.
Like he's not going to let them go down 2-0, I don't think.
For sure.
But you got something to say, Saya?
Yeah. KD, I don't see him dropping 30. I see KD dropping a nice little 22, 23 points.
Okay.
But I expect Kyrie to have a 50-point game. I think Kyrie's going to be mad he got that fine. Because he's super in his mind about like how his mind works and stuff.
Yeah.
But him getting fined for being human, just going to make him angry. He's going to have a point to prove now. He's already down 1 game, and he was visibly annoyed with the fans. So now it's just time for him to show out and just drop the 50-piece, I think. And I think Brooklyn wins by 15. Game 2.
That's fair.
Honestly, that's a great scenario for the Nets, right? I think Kyrie can do that. And if he leads this team, right, does he become the leader now? After the series, if they go ahead and win this series and he averages, say, 35 to 45 points a game, right, on 50% shooting, does he become the leader of this team in this playoffs?
I'm gonna be honest. I already think he is the leader. Like Kevin Durant's been deferring to him all season. In a sense, like since he came back, it's been the Kyrie show.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, we obviously know Kevin Durant is the better player.
Yes, but what do great leaders do? They defer. So that's why I feel like Kevin Durant's been deferring to him.
Right.
I don't know who the leader really is because I think both of them are kind of like co-leaders. And it really just depends on the night who's leading the team that night.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see what you're saying. And that might be like this scenario where he technically led the team.
Mm-hmm.
But the next series, I don't think it's going to be, okay, now we have to go through Kyrie. I think it's just going to be like next series could be KD's. And then if they go to the round after that, it could be Kyrie's again. But then KD's fine. Like
it's just whoever is the hot hand. That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
But and if Ben Simmons comes back like they say he's going to, that's going to make him even more dangerous.
Right.
He's gonna look so nice too.
Like him alone like helps their defense a ton.
All they really have to ask him to do is
defense.
Play defense. Maybe do some like dribble handoffs or like some pick and rolls.
Yeah,
that's perfect for Ben Simmons
because he's not a
Sorry,
shooter. He's not a scorer. He doesn't take you off the dribble. But like all he needs to do is be a top 10 defender like he was before and just rebound the ball.
And Brooklyn could be very scary. That's what I'm kind of hoping. Boston goes up a few games before Ben Simmons comes back.
Yeah.
Because once Ben Simmons comes back, it's a whole different game. I feel like if he is even Philly's playoff Ben Simmons, where he was still locking stuff down.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different type of series for Boston.
And like Kyrie off ball, Kyrie with ball is scary, but Kyrie off ball, that's even scarier.
You know how we were talking about KD guarding Tatum for that last shot?
Yeah.
KD don't even have to guard Tatum if Ben Simmons comes back. So KD can just save that all for offense.
Right.
Exactly. Like it's just scary. Man. To think about if he can come back, that's scary.
Very.
But at the same time, like right now, this might be a hot take, but the most valuable player on that Nets team is not the 2 stars. It's not Ben Simmons. I believe it's Seth Curry. Depending on how he comes out during that game is whether they win or lose a game. Because obviously if he goes for 20 points, right, and he helps lift the pressure off of Kyrie and KD, I feel like they have an easier time of winning the game. Whereas if he just goes for 9 points, the pressure's on Kevin Durant. It's on Kyrie Irving to do everything where they potentially lose the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when he drops 20 plus, they usually win. But when he drops
Exactly.
less than 15, they usually lose like the last game. So
Plus, they've really brought him in here for the playoffs. Seth Curry is a playoffs caliber type of person where he does show up in the playoffs. So
I agree heavily with that. But at the same time, with like the Brooklyn Nets team, Curry had like an off night, I would say,
Yeah.
where he didn't really perform to where they would have liked.
Right.
But Brooklyn still could have won that game if KD just D'd up at the end. So I
easily.
think Seth Curry dropping buckets is more likely of a Brooklyn blowout than it is
Right. Yeah.
I
like a
mean,
close battle.
it's also because of that last possession, offensive possession by the Nets too. That was just awful.
And
There.
you can put it in KD's hands, but at the same time, it's Steve Nash's responsibility to create a clutch ball, plays where they have set plays just for clutch moments like that.
And if you wanted to get the ball to Kevin Durant, why would you do it with 4 seconds left on the shot clock? That's
4
not enough
seconds left,
time.
yeah, exactly.
Like if you
All
want to get
the-
it to Kevin Durant, you give it to him with 10 seconds left on the shot clock, let him create a shot.
Exactly.
But I don't know. Either way, it could go both ways. It's on both the coaching and the defense.
Exactly.
But let's translate to the Heat, and let's say talk about his boy Jimmy Butler dropping 45 tonight.
Oh, man. The last time I saw Jimmy get buckets like this, it was two seasons ago.
It was in the bubble.
It was 2 seasons ago in the bubble. My boy Jimmy, it was playoff basketball time. My boy dropped 50, I think, in the playoffs. I think the first round too. And it was over after that. Miami ran their way to the finals, where the Lakers got lucky, beat them 4-1.
Or two, I'm gonna be respectful. But
Same
we
thing.
didn't no luck, just skill.
That's why I had to say 4-1, just so people wouldn't take it so seriously, But yeah, Jimmy dropped 45, played a phenomenal game. I feel like he really showed out. I feel like he had the mindset where he had to prove a point. Because game one, he had like a good game.
Yeah.
But he didn't show Jimmy G. Jimmy gets buckets.
Like if he plays like this, you guys are like the most dangerous team in the East.
There. And my boy Tyler Hero, he didn't play the best. Like Jimmy took a lot of shots, so he's not really gonna do his thing. But he didn't even have like a good game at all. So imagine if Jimmy's doing this thing, getting buckets, and Tyler Hero's still out there getting buckets too. Once that starts clicking, it's over for the league.
Did Duncan Robinson play good?
He played. He did all right. He played better in game one, I would say.
Because I was wondering why the Hawks were so close the entire time.
He dropped, I want to say like 24 maybe. I don't know. He had a bunch of threes. It looks like he couldn't miss,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it was like, it wasn't phenomenal from Duncan Robinson, I would say, where I expected him to be.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. If I were the Heat, I wouldn't stay sleeping on the Hawks though, because they play better at home. Like Trae Young, he plays better at home.
Yeah, maybe, but
But I still see the way you guys have been playing. I still see you sweeping them, but I feel like the Hawks are going to put up a fight like they did tonight. They're not going down without a fight.
I could see that. But there's one tool Miami has not unlocked yet, or not shown yet. And I'll let Gio talk about that one.
So we were talking before this that it's a very scary team. We obviously saw Jimmy Buckets perform in the 2020, playoffs, and then go to the finals. And like Nick said, I believe you guys got lucky. If you got a fully healthy Jimmy Butler, not gassed, carrying a squad to the finals, right? It could have gone 7 games. And when it goes to 7 games, everyone knows that one game can go to anyone at that point, right? So I think it was more skill from you guys, but you guys did get lucky in the fact that Jimmy Butler did get gassed, and we saw that in game 6, game 5, that Jimmy was gassed. Here's the thing. This year, you got Victor Oladipo, not even engaged yet. He's not even played a single minute in the playoffs. His last game, I believe, he scored 40 points in the regular season. He starts playing, he gets minutes, he starts scoring. Jimmy doesn't need to carry a team because you got Victor Oladipo. You got Duncan Robinson, you got Tyler Hero, right? Especially Duncan Robinson the last game. He scored, I believe, 8 for 10, 8 for 12 on 3-pointers, something like that. And if you have Victor Oladipo not even acclimated yet in the playoffs, he's rested. That boy's ready to go. Jimmy Butler, you need a break? All right, I'm coming in. I'll take over for you. And then you guys have a healthy squad to go into the playoff or into the finals possibly. And that's when it's scary because Jimmy Butler will be healthy. He will not be gassed this time in the finals. And you guys can win a championship most likely.
I was wondering why isn't Victor playing?
Why do you need him? The last game you had Duncan Robinson going off. Jimmy Butler didn't even have to play that much.
Is he hurt? Is he still hurt? Or I didn't know if he was still hurt.
Nah, he's healthy. He's good. He's ready to go. He's just rested.
What I'm thinking Coach Spo is doing is just kind of having him sit the bench right now.
Right.
Hoping teams will kind of sleep and forget about him.
Yeah, right.
Well, then say Trae Young's popping off and Duncan Robinson's in the game and he's not shooting really well like he's been doing so far this series.
I don't believe he scored a point tonight though.
Who?
Duncan.
Nah, he got buckets today.
Are you sure? Right now he didn't even play.
Duncan Robinson?
Yeah. Well, he played 7 minutes, it said. I don't know if you guys can check that on yours.
Oh yeah, I was tweaking. But I'm just saying, you let Duncan Robinson come in, start shooting bad, playing bad. My boy Max Strus comes in, plays lackluster defense. Trae Young gets a little icy, He's hot going into the third, going into the fourth quarter. Trae Young's turning into ice Trae. And then the Hawks are sitting there Trae Young's going to bring this home for us. Miami's just going to say,
Clamps.
Yeah, but here comes Black Panther.
Yeah.
Go clamp him up.
Yes,
Y'all sleep on this defense. And then Victor Oladipo finna come in, shut that down. And Miami wins.
I mean, that's true because boy hasn't even seen a minute in the playoffs yet.
Yep.
It is scary, ridiculous how much help Jimmy Butler has this year compared to previous years, where he didn't even need to score. He could have. I totally believe he could have, but he didn't need to game 1, right? This game was closer. They weren't up as high as they were in game 1, and they needed him to go off, and he did his thing, and they won the game because of it. So you have Jimmy Butler healthy with Victor Oladipo and the rest of the team. This is the most help he's had in years, and it's scary to see how healthy everyone will be.
I'm gonna be honest. At the beginning of the year, I didn't know how Kyle Lowry was gonna fit with this team, but that was a great pickup by you guys.
Very good pickup.
He's a great leader. He's already won a championship. He knows what to do in the playoffs. So,
yeah, I mean, this Heat team is definitely the scariest team since the 2020 team, I would say.
I would say even scarier, 10 times scarier.
I agree. Because there's another player on that Heat team who hasn't really gotten to show his offensive ability yet in this series. And he plays the 5 for Miami. Should have been actually, Marcus Smart deserved Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, well, he should have been a candidate. Let's just say that.
he should have been top 3 over Gobert,
Yeah.
I would say. But my boy Bam Adebayo hasn't even gotten to show really his scoring yet.
That's right.
Like, I'm looking at game 1. My boy took 5 total shots.
Right.
That's he went 1 for 5. In game 2, my boy Bam took 6 shots, went 3 for 6.
I mean, if he starts scoring,
They're not even giving him an opportunity to take over yet.
that's the
Just
thing.
wait.
That's the thing, because tonight they were like, Jimmy, just go do you. So he did. But like, if they tell Bam to do that, and Jimmy gets like 30, oh boy,
Yep. It's gonna be scary.
for real, bro. Because you got Tyler Hero coming off the bench, then you're like, oh, we can get a rest. No, Tyler Hero's coming.
Yep.
Yeah, bro, that's scary. But like, that's the thing. Like, if you take Clint Capella off the Hawks, it shows you how bad they are without him. Like, Trae Young's not the same Trae Young he is with Capella.
Capella really is just a really nice center for Trae Young. He elevates Trae's game so much.
Like, there's no one who can pick and roll and be a lob threat like Capella on that Hawks team outside of Capella.
Well, obviously you got I don't know about you, but John Collins, he's not really fully healthy. He's injured still. But he is more that Capella player where he can do the pick and roll and he can get that lob.
Well, he doesn't have the height though compared to Capella.
No, but I feel like he's more athletic.
Yeah.
John Collins is that guy, but he's not healthy. And I think the Heat is taking advantage of all that they can, especially when Trae Young is their only scorer, pretty much. You know, forcing Trae to go 2 for 10 from 3-point, right, and then going and not having him score any in the first game is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. They get to key in on Trae now because there's no Capella.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, Trae is so crafty that he's able to get his shot off, right? And for the Heat to be doing this against Trae, especially after his hot game against my Cleveland Cavaliers, having a 31-point second half, you know, he's usually a great momentum player where once he scores, he's going to be scoring for a little bit. So,
but Trae
just gets shut down, and it's crazy to see.
Like, I love Trae, but he's never been able to score against great defenders, like top-tier defenders yet. Right. He hasn't developed that part of his game.
Exactly. And for the rest of the Hawks, Gallinari went 0 for 4 from 3, which is, you know, absurd for him. He's usually – and he went 0 for 6. He was scoreless pretty much except for, I believe, 2 points. And then Herter, he was 3 for 7 from 3, 3 for 10 from the field. So
yeah, the only person
who's not shooting well at all.
The only person who stepped up was Bogdanovich. That's it.
Right.
And like, they're going to need more help, especially against the Heat team this dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
I will take anyone else on that Hawks team to beat us than Trae Young. So I'd rather have Trae doing his playmaking ability, all that, than having him score the ball. So yeah. I think Miami's doing a great job so far.
Like, if I was a coach, bro, I'd make him pass. I'd throw doubles at him, triples if I had to, and make him pass.
Exactly.
Because like, if I die on a Trae Young half court 3, I'm never gonna forgive myself for that.
They're just doing a really good job, I think.
Yeah, Coach Spo, he's a Hall of Fame coach. You expect that from Spo.
Oh yeah.
He's a top 10 coach. Top 10 coach of all time.
Only coach LeBron couldn't fire.
Facts.
Shout out Pat Riley. Another top 10 coach.
Another top 10 coach. Right.
Since you brought up the Cavs, Gio, I'm sorry that the season had to end that way.
We're just going to talk about this quick, but very fortunate. Great season overall. You know, no one really expected them to be this great. Darius Garland, star in the making. Jared Allen, great leader. Obviously, we know his impact on the team on and off. Kevin Love is a great mentor for everyone. Hopefully, you know, he's able to retire in a Cavs jersey. And then Colin Sexton, hopefully when we get him back, our team's even better. Hopefully the chemistry is not, you know, off, and we can just go right from where we left off. And that rookie we have in Evan Mobley. I personally believe he can be a top 10 player in the league one day, and hopefully we can build a team around him if it doesn't work out, because he's something special.
I think it was a great season no matter what. I mean, you guys still made noise in the league where like no one thought you were going to do good.
And we were top 4 in the East before injuries started piling up, so I'm happy about that.
I feel like Sexton might be traded though, if I'm being honest.
I believe we're going to keep him, but I feel like we'll trade him if it doesn't work out. We're going to try to keep him, see if it works out. If not, then you're right. We're going to trade him midway through the season.
Yeah, I can see that. Say, you got anything you want to say quickly?
I hope the Cavaliers do trade him. Colin Sexton is just stunning. Oh, sorry. Colin Sexton, in my eyes, is just stunning the growth of
Garland. I agree.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
He was blanking on my mind. Garland and the rookie just have to be pushed heavily, I feel like, for them.
I agree, because like Sexton, bro, I mean, once he went down, you saw what Garland could do.
But at the same time, Garland could use the help, and the defense Colin Sexton brings is insane. He's a great defender when he's in the game. I personally feel like he'll be Defensive Player of the Year at one point in time in his career. So it'd be great to see him work out with the team. Our defense will be even better than what it was this year. So,
yeah, I mean, Sexton's a great player. I just don't think the fit's that great, personally.
Right. But if you want to talk.
All right, Gio, pick up where you left off.
So speaking about players that are going to get traded, I feel like it's very important to bring this person into our conversation tonight is Donovan Mitchell. I feel very bad for him and his scenario in Utah, right? I feel like they're wasting his potential. And he scored 35 points, 5 assists last night, losing against the Mavericks without a Luka Doncic and allowing a role player, I wouldn't even consider a second option on a team, really, although give him grave respect, but I don't believe he's a second option on a playoff team. So for Donovan Mitchell to be wasted there, I feel like he needs to be traded. Where do you guys think he should go?
Well, just to speak on the game, I think Rudy Gobert needs to play like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. First of all, you can't let Jalen Brunson drive to the rim like 20 times and make layups over you. Like, to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, you need to block at least 10 of those.
Right.
He needs to do more offensively and defensively. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Someone I believe that needs to be traded from that team is Rudy, not Donovan, so much to say. But if Donovan's on the trade market, he can come to Miami.
Nah, he can come to the Lakers. That's all I'm saying. Nah, but fit-wise, he could fit with any team if we're being honest. Like, he's just a great player.
For sure.
He's a very good scorer. I would say good defender. So he really could fit on teams. It's just come playoffs, Rudy Gobert just ain't Mr. D-Boy no more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Donovan's would be like, go to the Jazz ownership if they lose round one and be like, all right, it's either me or him. You choose.
Exactly.
Because like he's up for a new contract. He doesn't want to. If he doesn't want to stay there for 5 years and not win, like he wants to win.
Right. And sorry to go back to my point. The player that slipped my mind was Jalen Brunson. He should not have scored 41 points against you guys. He's a great role player, but he's not a second option.
I would also say the same about Maxi Kleba. How do you let him go 8 for 10 from 3?
Exactly, scoring 25 points. That's kind of ridiculous.
Like, if you guys want to win round one, first of all, there's no Luka Doncic. That changes the game entirely when he comes back.
Right.
And then you let Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Maxi Kleba single-handedly win the game. Like, you need better defense.
Right.
every year, the playoffs, it always comes down to one thing. And it's the fact that Rudy can't play on the court when teams are going stretch fives or all shooters.
And it's kind of obvious that Donovan doesn't really like Rudy. Rudy goes and gives him a high five, and Donovan he does high five him, but it's I don't really get away from me.
But
and then they do talk to each other like they're teammates still, they're respectful. But you can just see it in Donovan's eyes. He doesn't really respect him.
But at the same time, as a second option on a team or tied for the first option, obviously we know Donovan Mitchell, he's going to be scoring 35 plus points in a playoff game. But Rudy Gobert to only have 5 shots as a second option, as your dominating big man, to be in the post, only get 5 shots and go 2 for 5. That's sad. He should be at least 10 shots.
That's another thing, though. Donovan Mitchell only averages 2 passes a game to Rudy Gobert. Right. That's it. That tells you all you need to know. Take all the rest out of the picture, bro. That's all you need to know.
You have other players as well who should pass to him. You should, as a coach, like you said in the past, Quinn Snyder's nowhere to be found in the playoffs. You should be having plays as a big man, right, where they cannot stop Rudy Gobert in the paint, or they should not be able to run plays for him, right?
Well,
where you guys can gain momentum.
I just don't think the team likes Rudy, to be honest. Ever since that COVID thing, I think that he lost all their trust.
But also, offensively, what do you want Rudy to do? You want him to post up and you pass him the ball, or do you want? Because I don't really see much skill.
He's not a post-up player. If he posts up, he loses the ball.
He can't really score on his own, I would say.
No, he needs to
be not on his own, but try to feed him more, where you're able to spread the floor, right? Where you have to have the defense collapse. And when you get the defense to collapse, then you have the open Royce O'Neals, you have the Bogdanoviches and the Mike Conleys, right? Jordan Clark.
I feel the only way you can do that, though, is just pick and rolls. That's the only way you can get Rudy the ball.
Exactly. Like you said, he's not a good ball handler. He can't post up in the game. Pick and roll is your best bet, and that's where you can, have your best option of trying to get him the ball and possibly collapsing that defense.
Well, but watching the game last night, they did do a lot of pick and rolls, and it worked. But Mitchell was just the one getting to the rim.
Exactly. But if you can feed it to other guys and get other guys open by doing that, not just him going to the rim, but feeding Rudy, right? Obviously, you said he only passes twice to Rudy per game. If you keep feeding Rudy, then he's starting to heat up, right? He's starting to feel more confident, right? And it's all about the confidence game. And if Gobert can have confidence on the offensive end, obviously his defense is going to play better as well. So
I think it's vice versa too. He needs to play better defensively in order to get the ball offensively for his teammates to trust him.
It can go both ways, right?
But say you got something you want to say?
Gio, I respect what you're saying, but I'm going to not agree with it. Okay. I don't think Rudy should touch the ball more. I think defensively, Rudy's a liability when they play 5 out. And when they're playing – sorry.
No, I'm agreeing. That's true.
And normally when you, say last year against LA, when he had Terrence Mann on him,
right,
you would expect him to at least use his 7'1" size to get some buckets.
Right.
But he couldn't score there. So he's becoming unplayable in a sense.
So to be that big and not use your height, it just makes me mad, bro. I'd kill to be that height.
Honestly.
And be against a 5'8" player, bro. Post up.
So at the same time, you guys are saying trade Rudy, but with the contract he has and the ability he has, no one's going to want him for what the Jazz want to, give up for him, right?
That's why I'm saying if Donovan Mitchell forces his way out, they're going to have no choice but to trade him.
The option is to trade Donovan Mitchell. That's your best option to get your bang for your buck, because I honestly don't. I don't think you can get what you want for Rudy right now, especially the way you guys are talking about him. And I believe you guys are right. Like he's not playable right now.
Well, you also could say the same about Mike Conley, though. Like, he has not played good this series.
Mike Conley has not played good. He's 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3-point, played 22 minutes. Give Jordan Clarkson the starting role, please. He's playing 23 minutes, scored 21 points, 3 for 4 from 3-point land, and 8 for 11 from the field. So,
But Snyder will never bench Conley. That's just what I think.
right. But Jordan Clarkson deserves that starting position.
I agree.
With the way Mike Conley's playing right now.
Yeah, and Mike Conley, I mean, he's not the player he used to be. He's older. He's injury prone.
Right.
He's just not the same.
But still, give respect to Jordan Clarkson because that boy can still ball. He can still ball out anytime he wants. So
For sure.
I think they have to start Conley though, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you take Clarkson off the bench, who do you got off the bench?
yeah, you got nothing. Especially with Mike Conley playing the way he's playing, you got nothing. So
I'm thinking like with Rudy too. If they're gonna play Rudy, you really need perimeter defenders because Rudy's not gonna go out and guard no 3-ball.
I mean, Clarkson is a great defender, but like it just takes so much power off their bench.
I'm wondering why they're not playing Eric Pascal. He was great for the Warriors.
That's the thing. They traded for him and they barely play him. They had barely played him all year. Like, why do you trade for him?
I feel like as a coach, you should try to make that option where just like Spo's keeping Victor Oladipo, on the bench right now and resting him. Have that crazy scenario where you put Eric Pascal in instead of Rudy for the majority of the game. See what happens because you never know what's going to happen if you put Eric Pascal in because he is a great pick and roll player. He's got size. He knows how to use his body around the rim, and he's a smart basketball player. So if you use him correctly, he could be the difference maker in that game.
And just stop using Hassan Whiteside too. Like you take Rudy out, but Hassan Whiteside is literally the same player. He's not an offensive player at all, and he's a defensive liability.
Right. And like you said, he's older. He's not like the Hassan Whiteside we saw on the Heat. We're never going to see that Hassan again. So,
I would also say this: he's a Rudy-like player,
right? Just
way worse.
Yeah, like you're taking Rudy out for a worse player essentially. You got a young player who's proven for the Warriors that he can play defense and he can score and he can stretch the floor, and you're just sitting him on the bench.
Like towards the end of games, when Rudy's not playable, put Pascal in, and then there's a little fire between both of them.
Like, I don't know why Snyder expects Whiteside to do something Rudy can't. Like, they're both the same players.
Right.
But that's just the way I look at it. Like, it can go both ways, coaching and players.
Right. And here's the thing again. You got Nico Alexander Walker on the bench, not even playing a game, not a minute. And we saw what he could have done. We saw what he could do on the Pelicans. Mm-hmm. Why don't you play him? You should play him more than what you do. So
yeah, their bench is deep. It's just he doesn't go deep for some reason.
He doesn't go deep for some reason. Like we could be seeing Jordan Clarkson starting, right? You guys said there's no scoring on the bench. What if you put Eric Pascal and Nico Alexander Walker in, right? Those guys couldn't at least get you 30 points on the bench if given the time. So
they could at least give you 10 to 15 a night on a good night.
Together or each?
Each.
That's exactly 30. That's what I'm saying. 30 points combined. That's 30 combined points on your bench that you're not getting right now. And you get a great starting point guard in Jordan Clarkson, which gives you the energy, gives you the boost with Donovan Mitchell, where Donnie doesn't have to be doing what he's doing right now. So,
yeah, it's a tough position to be in for Mitchell, to be honest.
It's a tough position to be for Snyder, because if I'm the Lakers or any other team where possibly Greg Popovich could be retiring soon, and they're saying Snyder could be the next coach there, you got the Lakers looking at him. It's all eyes on him to see what he can do with a solid team. And if he can't do anything, why be the head coach?
Especially for franchises like the Spurs and Lakers who have won championships.
Right. Yeah.
But before we close out, I just wanted to say The Suns are winning 61-56, and Devin Booker has half their points. He has 31 at half.
I'd like to see him try to do that against Miami, though. Now with Jimmy Buckets on him.
No, I'm just saying, though, in general, that's insane. In one half,
That's big.
31,
That kid's a hooper, bro.
literally.
He's still mad young, too.
Yeah, bro. Is like this Suns team, even if Chris Paul retires, they're still scary.
Oh, very.
Like
Especially,
they're not going to win as many games as they have, but they will be playoffs.
I feel like even with that, Chris Paul had to have taught them so much by now, too.
Yeah.
That even after he leaves, Devin Booker is going to step into that role where he is taking the team over, and he's going to be like, all right, this is what Chris said. Like,
Yeah,
this
like
is where we found success.
we've already seen Devin do that. Like last playoffs, he did that. Like it's gonna be scary,
And
no matter
we've
what.
seen what happens with players after Chris Paul leaves. Like Shea Alexander is a perfect example
hmm
I love shit.
Like
where
I just wanted to say that boy's going off tonight. He might drop 60.
right. That is
He might
possible.
even
I'm
drop
just saying.
70.
What'd you
Like-
say?
He might even drop 70.
Facts.
You might.
Go ahead, Gio. What you're saying?
I'm just saying, like you guys are saying, when Chris Paul leaves this team, you've seen in the past, Shea Alexander is a perfect example. Good player turns into a great player. A good team without Chris Paul turns into a great team with Chris Paul and stays a great team when he leaves because of what he does and what he teaches them. So, but it is very impressive to see the Pelicans holding on to this, especially with Devin Booker having 31 points. It's a 5-point lead. CJ McCollum has 15 points, right?
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens. You never know if the Suns will pull away, or you never know if the Pelicans can fight back. So,
Well, from watching the Suns, beat the Lakers so many times, they're a third quarter team. So I think they're gonna blow out the third quarter.
but the Pelicans are very explosive as well, and you never know when they can get on their run.
That's true, but I feel like they got to unlock Zion at some point if they want a chance in the series.
I believe, Windhorst stated on ESPN that he is supposed to come back for 5v5s right now.
But I feel like it's just too little, too late at this point.
It is, but at the same time, if you guys get into a possible, like maybe he comes back for games 3 and 4, right? You never know. And also, you're saying that the Suns are gonna, blow out the Pelicans. Valanciunas only has 6 points at this moment,
Yeah, but Valanciunas has never been good against like decent defending centers. That's what I think.
but he went off, I believe, last game.
Did he do well last game? I didn't think he did.
I believe he did do well last game. I will check. But yeah, I really see the Suns, or not the Suns, but the Pelicans' future is very bright.
Oh, 100%. Like this team with Zion, I want to see that very badly.
Yeah, Valanciunas had 18 points, 25 rebounds, 3 assists the last game.
25 rebounds is good. 18, I would like to see him get at least 25.
But at the same time, when you have Chris Paul and you have Devin Booker be scoring like they are, you need everyone hitting on all cylinders. You need Valanciunas doing the things he's doing. You need Brandon Ingram to get more than 18 points the last game. He only got 18.
True.
CJ got 25. He's doing the thing he's doing. Everyone else just needs to keep up.
That's the thing. That's why I'm ruling them out. Like they're just too young compared to the Suns.
Right.
And they don't have the experience the Suns do either. Like the Suns went to the finals last year. This is Brandon Ingram's first playoffs ever in his career, and many of the Pelicans too.
Right. And Devin Booker went 50% from the field, from 3-point, and 8 for 19 from the field last game as well with 25 points. So
Yeah, and then Chris Paul took over the fourth when they were coming back.
yeah, and that's a scary thought. Chris Paul still might be the best point guard in the league, the way he's playing. So
Say
He's a very good point guard.
he's very good, but I wouldn't say he's the best in the league, personally.
Especially when you got Kyle Lowry, you know.
Nah, especially when you got
Sorry.
Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving.
Well, the only argument I would say is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is CP3 with a better shot to me.
But you're saying CP3 is better than Kyrie?
Yes, 100%.
No, personally, no.
Well,
If you want to
I
win a
would
game,
agree.
I'm having Chris Paul.
I agree with that.
If you want razzle dazzle, Kyrie's your guy.
But Kyrie can win you games too.
I like Chris Paul.
I would say, like individual play, Kyrie's way better.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
But like team basketball,
Yeah, that's CP3 all day. He's the best point guard at it.
yeah, he's the best in the league at that. I would even say.
Yeah.
But at the
So I
same
can
time,
understand this.
what do you want? Like, do you want a guy to win or do you want a guy to razzle dazzle?
I mean, Kyrie does both, though. That's what I'm saying.
It depends. Are you the coach or the GM?
That's true. Because if you're the GM and Razzle Dazzle makes you money, then you don't care.
Right.
Exactly.
But at the same time, as a GM, your job might be on the line if you don't win.
Most of the time, GMs are safe. That's the way I look at it.
They're safe unless you keep losing. If you lose for a long duration of time, right, you're gonna get fired. Just like the Lakers, Rob Pelinka making these moves, he's gonna get fired at some point.
He should be, but I don't know if he will be.
Should he though?
Yes.
I don't know.
Of course you don't know. You don't want to see us on top again. Gio, are you okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Was that your
We're good.
video?
What? Nah, I had no idea what that was.
My
Oh,
boy's watching the Discovery Channel over there.
Yeah.
thanks. But what were we even talking about? Oh, Rob Pelinka, yeah.
Well, the whole point is, I feel like if I want to win, right, especially in the playoffs, I'm having Chris Paul, and I feel like he makes the team better. And as a true point guard, he is the definition of a true point guard.
100%. But here's what I'd say: Kyrie Irving has a title. Chris Paul does not.
And here's my argument to that. Chris Paul did not have LeBron James.
Okay, but Chris Paul choked. If we're being real, he choked in the finals. Last year, he choked.
But was he fully % healthy? He's in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
but that's the thing. If you want to win, you got to be healthy. He has to stay healthy.
Right. And at the same time, Chris Paul, we can say what ifs and buts about it. But Chris Paul was winning 3-1 before he got his hamstring hurt against the Warriors when he was in Houston. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can keep saying all of these things, but Chris Paul, when he's healthy, he wins you games.
Yeah, you could say Chris Paul had Devin Booker last year. He's not a LeBron James, I'll give you that, but he's still a superstar.
Yes, that is true, and I do believe but that goes to the whole Suns.
Yeah, go ahead, Saya.
There's one point guard who's got one more ring than Chris Paul, and he got that ring without being teammates with LeBron James. He currently plays down in South Beach. Kyle Lowry's the best point guard in the league.
Okay, but if we're being real, that boy had Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi Leonard, if we're being real, carried.
Yeah. I'll make a case for Steph.
If there was no Kawhi, they would not have won.
Nah. But to get into this conversation without joking, I'll make Steph's case.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
So Stephen Curry, 3-time three rings, right?
Champion, I think, yeah.
3-time
No
champion.
finals MVPs.
Nah. Debatably, should I have one?
Snubbed, yeah. Iguodala.
He's a 3. Yeah, right. So my boy Stephen Curry. If we're talking that, Steph Curry has 3 rings, 2 more than Kyrie. Stephen Curry also led his team to have the best record of all time in the regular season, going 73-9. So he wins games. Did he win the finals that year? No.
No.
But he still has three little rings around his fingers,
But the argument against that would be he's had more help than both the point guards, Kyrie and CP3, especially CP3.
Very true.
Gio, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the only thing that makes I feel like Kyrie, in a sense, has the best handle of all time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And he is clutch. CP3's clutch. Steph, I would say not as clutch as both of those guys, but he's still clutch in his own sense. Steph's got the best shot. You got 1 A, B, and C. You can really pick any three of those guys and you're fine.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just picking either Steph Curry or Chris Paul over Kyrie, just because right now you have the headache of Kyrie Irving, right? You never
That's
know
fair.
what he's going to do. Chris Paul is very loyal. He's been very consistent throughout his whole career, and he knows how to win games. And like we've been saying, he makes every player better, right? So that's just my opinion. And Steph Curry, obviously, greatest shooter of all time. You can literally make that an argument for anything Steph Curry does, right? He's the greatest shooter of all time. He can be the best point guard. And he's a great passer as well. Great ball handler. So he's really got it all. He's really the only one that, to me, can make an argument against Chris Paul as being the best.
That's
I
fair.
don't think Kyrie's that headache.
I mean, his tactics in the past year have been a headache.
I mean, basketball-wise, big time headache. But I like his mind a lot, the way he thinks about things. I'm a fan of his.
Fair. Everyone has their own opinions.
I love watching Kyrie play. It's just, if I was the GM or anything like that, I don't want to be reliable for having my team lose potentially because Kyrie's not on the court, So
I mean, luckily they got the mandate lifted, but yeah, I get where you're coming from.
well, with anything, Kyrie can leave at any point in time if he wants to, because he's Kyrie and he has a reason. He can say he has a reason for everything.
Yeah, like the last year when he went out 10 games for personal reasons.
Right, exactly.
That's true. And he said he was going to retire. Whoever knows what he's thinking.
Right. So
He can come to Miami if he wants.
Theo's over here in recruiting train, guy.
Hey, I'm not part of the Miami Heat. I can recruit nowadays.
I don't know if any of these boys watch this, but hey, if so, hire say this GM.
Yeah, but all three of them very, very good point guards. I do think Kyle Lowry's the best, but I'm in the minority here of those thoughts. So I'll leave it to myself.
And I think Russell Westbrook is the best, personally.
Nah, even you don't believe that.
I know, facts. That's the point.
No, that's fair.
But no, we, like you said, it's 1A and 1B, like you said.
you guys want to hold this for me?
What?
Yo, why are you guys smoking the weed over there? What are you guys smoking on? Kyle Lowry and Russell Westbrook? Come on.
Nah,
It's
bro,
definitely Darius Garland, right?
Yeah, facts. It's Darius Garland.
If anything, I'm picking Reggie Jackson. That boy's a bucket. Reggie Jackson cannot be stopped. Come on.
Nah,
Bro, I love Bobby Schmurda.
Nah, in all seriousness, though, seriousness, though, Gio, like you said, it's 1A, 1B, and 1C.
Right.
Yeah, all honesty, yeah.
But yeah, no, we're just having fun over here. We're delusional.
But I am picking Reggie over both of your boys, so.
Nah,
Sure.
Reggie Jackson's a Laker killer. I hate that man.
I like Ish Smith. He might be the best.
Ish Smith doesn't get enough minutes on the Warriors.
Honestly, he could be. If he got starter minutes, he'd
nothing
be an
worse, the
MVP by
Wizards.
now.
Yeah, he really. I mean, he should get like 15 to 20 minutes, I would say.
Nah, he needs to play like 40 because he is the MVP. He could be MVP if he played like that.
I do wonder if we're ever going to see Cardiac Kemba again, another point guard.
Oh, speaking of trades, we all know what's going to happen, but like, I don't know. Where do you guys think is the best fit?
For Cardiac Kemba,
Yeah.
the Wizards.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd want to go to a team who's going to lose. He wants to
I don't think
win.
he's got an option.
I mean, true, but if he goes to the Wizards, I don't think he'd play a game. He'd be like, nah, get me out of here.
To be honest, why not like Minnesota?
Well, because they already got a point guard. They got D'Lo.
Okay, how's that like going for them?
It's going like
It's
D'Lo's
going okay. It could be
D'Lo's
better.
good.
D'Lo's good, but you need that backup, especially when D'Lo's off. When D'Lo's off, he's off. So
But you could also say that their backup is Patrick Beverly.
but really, Pat Bev's not there for the offense.
But he can score, and he showed he can.
He can score, but at the same time, Pat Bev's there for all defensive purposes. I feel like if you bring in a bucket like Kemba, he might be able to show you just like Derrick Rose did in his comeback. Derrick Rose scored, I believe, 52 points, his highest in his career on the T-Wolves. So I feel like Kemba can do the same thing and resurrect his career in Minnesota.
I don't know, to be honest, I don't even know what's a good fit for him anymore because he's just been such a headache lately. So inconsistent.
One place where Cardiac Kemba could come back, and this is like, I don't necessarily want him here, but this is where he would become the best version of Kemba again, or at least better. I would think Miami.
I mean, yeah, you could say that, and I could also say the Lakers. Like, we need a point guard, but like he wouldn't have to do as much as he has had to in the past.
The only thing I would say about Lakers and Miami, though, I'll start with Miami, but this also ties with the Lakers as well, is in Miami, Kemba would have to come in, and he'd have to become very hustle heavy
Yeah,
and play defense, which is very lackluster, and that's why I don't see him in LA or Miami. But offensively, I think he could have the potential to rejuvenate a little bit and become a better version of Kemba, where he
like,
can.
no, go ahead. Go.
Like if he came to Miami, the scorers are Jimmy, Tyler, like Tyler Hero and Jimmy are primarily the scorers in Miami.
Yeah,
So we trade like Dwayne Dedman and Max Strus or Gabe Vincent interchangeable for Kemba, or even just one of them. Then I think Kemba could come in and score the ball, and then people will see him as coming back. If he went to the Lakers, he could be that third option. And then you trade Russell Westbrook for like some perimeter players / stand and shoot players. I think he could rejuvenate there too.
yeah, like because like what are the Lakers lacking the most is 3-point shooting, number one, and just offense in general. And he like in the past you've seen that he can be a top tier offensive playmaker.
Facts.
But if he did go to the Heat, what would Kyle Lowry do?
Kyle Lowry would start. Kemba would be a 6-man. Well, not 6-man, but like
Seventh man. Yeah.
rotational piece. Yeah.
You think he's willing to come off the bench though? Because he didn't seem happy about it in New York.
He best if he wants a ring.
Yeah, that's true. But like, if he wants to play, I feel like he's not a player who's ready to come off the bench. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh, I don't see any contending teams that would take a starting Kemba Walker as their point guard.
No.
Yeah, that's true. So he'll have to get used to it. It's gonna be like the Carmelo transition where he had to get used to coming off the bench. But like that's where all I'm saying is this is where all of the turmoil started when he came off the bench. But Gio, you got anything you want to say?
Nope.
You sure?
Yeah.
So
In all honesty, Kemba, the only place where I thought he would start is pretty much like pretty much a low tier team like the Wizards, like possibly Sacramento. But at the same time, you're not going to get the productivity you once got from Kemba. I feel like the best chance is to adapt and become that bench role player.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to do that. Like,
So
I feel like at some point Russell Westbrook's gonna have to do that. Like, Carmelo had to do it. These guys are gonna have to do it eventually too.
you know who didn't have to do that? Potentially, Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade could have honestly started every single game in his career.
That's the difference between like the top players and mid-tier players.
So you're saying Dwayne Wade's mid tier?
No, I'm saying
no, the way stop.
I'm saying he's top.
Yeah, he's better be the top.
Yeah.
Only if you're gonna go to Cleveland.
Facts. He should have stayed in Miami.
Hey man, we try to run it back. The D Wade, LeBron James, back to back to back. So it's all right.
Hey,
No, I think
it was worth a shot.
I thought it was really smart by your general manager though.
No, for sure.
Bringing all those big names.
And it also lured LeBron back too. So
all those big names. So then there was like some buzz around them.
Oh,
and then they were really bad, but like
still
really bad.
I mean, it's kind of like the Lakers this year.
Yeah. Like,
but really, outside of the 5 names, you had no one like Malik Monk. Like seriously, who's that guy? Like no one knows who Malik Monk is.
Hey, that boy was a bucket though.
He is.
Don't talk down Malik. He was a bucket. Without Malik,
hey,
bro.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. We all know who Malik Monk is. He's a great bucket.
No, I'm saying, but without Malik, bro, we would have won like not even 30 games.
But at the same time, all the mispossessions Malik has had, think of that. Late in the season, Malik Monk creating turnovers, going into the lane. Malik Monk now playing some defense.
Well, Malik was never a defender. We knew that when we signed him.
But at the same time, what if you had someone else?
Kendrick Nunn, if he was healthy.
That's the thing, bro. Healthy, that boy made $5 million to sit on the bench.
Hey, you guys paid Deng until this year, so.
Facts.
Like, bruh. And now he's opting in. He better play next season.
I want him to, too. He's a former Heat. He was one of my guys when he played in Miami.
He was a great guy.
I want to see him be successful.
Like, I don't even know how a bone bruise keeps you out for the whole year.
It's good. I've never had one, so I don't really know, but
it did.
It must have been like I think it had to be a tear because like there's no way a bone bruise could keep you out the whole year.
True.
Because like Anthony Davis sprained his whole MCL and came back before him.
True.
But it's also the difference between superstar and average NBA player. Superstar LeBron James, Anthony Davis can tear their MCL, whatever the case may be, and come back in no time because their genetics are so great. They can heal so fast. They're like Wolverine. So like, come on, they can just heal. Like Kawhi Leonard, we all know what he is. He sits out. He's never healed. Is he really a superstar if he doesn't have the genetic ability to heal as fast as what some of these other players? But in all honesty, like it must have been really bad for Kendrick Nunn to sit out the whole year. And I feel really bad for him because I'm sure he wanted to play with these guys and see what the potential of this team was. So,
I mean, if he was healthy, that would just put him a total added boost to us. Cause like when Russ was playing that poor in the first half of the season, we could have threw him in.
Exactly. But you'll never know until next year, until you guys run it back with the same.
And I mean, unless we keep Russ on the team, Russ won't be there. So we'll see.
No, you guys are running it back. So.
Nah, bro. Russ is gone. Russ is gone. Don't worry.
Well,
I hope Russ is gone. Personally, that's just Russ needs to go. That's just my belief, but I'm not going to get into that right now since we don't have much time. Gio, you got a segment you want to do?
Nah, it's been pretty quiet in the sneaker world. How about you, Seth? You got any music?
Is he frozen for you too?
Yeah. So how about you? Say's getting technical difficulties. What's going on in the video game world?
I've just been playing a little bit of Elden Ring. I haven't been doing much else other than that. And MLB The Show, still 2K, but mostly Elden Ring and MLB The Show. Elden Ring is new for me. I would say if you like searching around and trying to figure out how to win games, then I would highly suggest Elden Ring. It's pretty fun. And is Saya back?
Sorry, my laptop died, so I'm charging. I'm pulling out the charger right now.
Oh no, you're good.
You got music?
But outside of that, yeah, I was just gonna say Saya can go to music whenever he's ready.
So I could talk about T Grizzy, about how he dropped the song, but instead I'm going to shout out my boy Lil Dicky. We were talking about Kyrie and Kyrie thinks the Earth's flat. I just want to shout out Earth by Lil Dicky.
All right. See y'all Thursday. We'll be back.
Peace.
Hey, thanks everyone. Make sure you guys subscribe if you like the video, and catch you all next week.